What's going on, guys? My name's Chris. I'm with my co-host JP Flellen, and thanks again for joining us for another episode of the Success Agent Podcast, where we're going to focus on talking about strategies to help real estate agents sell more homes while spending less time and less money to do so with 21st century modern business tactics. Now, you can catch us here live every single Wednesday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, or you can even take us on the go. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere. If you just go ahead and look up for us, we're there. And while you're there, give us a review. Let us know how we're doing. So last week we had special guest Jake Martin. Jake is a lender, and we talked about knowing your loan products in your different areas, so that you can really help guide your clients towards the right direction. And this week we have special guest Whitney McNair. Whitney is an icon agent in our brokerage of EXP, and we'll explain what that is really. But our goal today is to talk about really what Whitney has done differently in her business to really catapult her to the top to reach that icon level. So real quick, Whitney, why don't you just give us a quick intro about yourself, what you're about, and all that good stuff.
Sure. So I'm Whitney. I'm a realtor in Oklahoma. I have a really small team. There's just 3 of us. And what I enjoy doing is I enjoy helping veterans, and we pride ourselves on just kind of being detail oriented and just, being real with people and just helping them through the process. So that's kind of what I'm about.
Okay, cool. And how long have you been in real estate so far?
So it's been about 5.5 years. I've been licensed since 13.
Okay, gotcha. And so now that you're 5 years in, what has been some of the biggest changes that you have seen in your business since starting?
Absolutely. So a lot of it's just been growth. Definitely built the business pretty quickly. And so part of it's just been staying organized to scale that. Systems, keeping the systems in place to make sure everything runs really smoothly. But that's been the biggest part.
Okay, cool.
For systems. Because everybody that's watching is going, I've heard that before. But when I put systems in place, they don't execute well. So what is it that you're doing in terms of keeping yourself organized in like the systems that you're using to really streamline and stay effective with your business?
Yeah, so we have a lot of those. I can just give you a few examples. So anytime a buyer calls in, and I say call, but I actually get more Facebook messages than I do phone calls. I get way more on social media. So anytime a buyer contacts me, for example, I would get all their information written down. There's a sheet that I have. I put it in my notebook. They're categorized as A, B, and C buyers. A are ready to go in the next 30. B are 30 to 90, and then C are further on than that. Those sheets get put in the notebook among dividers. They get put in the CRM at the same time. I use Wise is what I use.
Was that Wise Agent? Okay.
Yeah. It's set up for teams a little bit, but the reason I like Wise Agent is because of another system we use. So the contact gets put in the CRM, and then we set reminders when to call them. So that's kind of how I keep up with clients. You never want to miss a call. So
right. So do you do you provide those action plans, we'll call them, for your agents? So basically when the lead is assigned to them, they automatically have those action plans assigned?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do that. And then on all of our transactions, we have a checklist in our CRM as well.
So it's a combination of automation and old school.
Yeah.
Did the two
That's
systems
really
conflict?
that's really the only old school thing I do. But for me, like you have to have it written out so you can, flip a page and kind of stay updated on what's going on. But yeah, I like
Yeah.
old school for some things.
There
I'm a
you go.
big fan of writing stuff down. So I hear what you're saying there. It feels so good to write stuff and then type it in later. So I hear what you're saying there.
Absolutely.
Nice. So you got systems, and then in terms of, do you guys do like any like in-house training, or do you guys really just kind of rely on the brokerage for your training?
Um, so really just kind of rely on the brokerage. I do some of the training, but we do rely on the brokerage quite a bit. Um, I do hop in the cloud myself. The schedule comes out every Sunday
Hmm.
on the training, and I kind of sort through there and see what's going on and kind of hop in on topics that interest me. One of the topics lately we've been focusing on is virtual reality showings. We do a lot of that because of our relocation market. So that's kind of something I've been focusing in on lately.
That's actually kind of cool. So we've mentioned this before, VR, real estate moving into the VR. What are you guys doing with that? Are you like fully set up so you're actually taking clients, holding their hand in a virtual space and showing them the house, or what is that? How does that work?
Yeah, so there's another EXP agent that has a platform. That's the one that we use. So we sell a lot of home site unseen. Um, I think I've done probably 6 or 7 since December.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
so, yeah, so um, it's really, really cool. So the platform allows us to upload a 10-minute video of the house and add it to their we can add them to a video library, but then we can create the buyer a portal and they can log into their portal and look at the
Hmm.
videos. And it can be done with a cell phone or a 360 camera. So um, it's technology we're working on, and it's getting there. It's not quite where I want it yet, but it's a lot better than what we had 3 years ago.
What were you
So
doing
you can
3 years
walk
ago?
into a house with your phone, and then it uploads to like a server, and then they can log in and watch the tour.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
How has
So
Yeah.
that changed your business?
for multiple people, you can just do it one time after you do a showing. Now, do you have to have the
Oh
permit,
yeah.
the sellers for that?
Yeah, so you want to get permission. I let them know what I'm doing, just as a courtesy, because if you don't, it. I'm not thinking there's not really a rule here in Oklahoma saying that you can't do that, but just as a courtesy, because if you don't give notice, you'll get the hey. I was down the street and only one realtor walked in the house. So
Oh.
so they're confused.
Yeah, watching you from a distance, and it's like, I saw you. You're wearing a red jacket. And like what?
So, but yeah, so FaceTime doesn't really work for us. The reason why is like my cell phone, I've got 5 time zones on my cell phone. I've got Alaska, Hawaii, Italy, Germany, Japan. That's where a lot of my clients relocate from. So, Germany is a 7-hour time difference, but Japan is more. So, linking up the time, when a buyer is relocating from Japan is just not going to work. So, I can upload those and then they can watch them when I'm asleep.
That's
Nice.
pretty sweet. So do you have to pay a monthly fee for that service?
Yeah, I do, but it's 99 and it's unlimited.
Oh, that's not bad
It,
at all.
it's pretty unlimited. I think I can have up to 100, but we go in there and we delete the ones after they sell, so we don't usually keep that many in there.
Hmm.
The cool thing is that a lot of our clients do look at the same houses, So, that relocate. So it's like, hey, I've already taken a video of that one. So here you go.
Wow.
Now, does it allow you to, so you pay for basically your own space on the
Yeah.
server. So
Yeah, we pay for
other
the
agents
server.
are doing videos, you can't use their video.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. So it makes it more personable. And then how are you getting the word out to other military folk, or is it just like a virus? People are just finding out and then they're just like, hey, you got to use this gal because she's doing all these tours and you can just go on there and watch them all.
Yeah, so we have to create them a portal, and we can take the videos, and if it meets their criteria, we can upload them in there, so they can't just like go and watch everyone. It's really just word of mouth. I'm putting some videos together right now to market it, but a lot of it's just word of mouth. Social media, the word can spread on social media like wildfire. So
Right.
that's kind of what we're using.
So are you doing any active lead gen at all, or is it your business pretty much 100% referral based?
So there's two events I do so I'll kind of speak to what I do personally without like other agents. I don't need to do any lead gen really. Mine is about 85-90% referral based. Most of my business does come from my sphere of influence. But I keep up with my sphere really, really well.
Okay.
What is it
Gotcha.
that you're doing to keep up with your sphere? Like, what's your process?
So there's a lot of different things I do. I send birthday cards, I send home anniversary cards, they're handwritten. So that's one thing. We do client appreciation events. In October, we did a pumpkin patch, which is awesome. I recommend that one because you don't really have to set up for it. Super easy. You just take them to the farm. We do an Easter egg hunt. That's really popular. We don't do like 6 events a year. But I love on my clients. It saves me money. I love loving on people anyway. But I don't have to really have much of a marketing budget because of that. I do have a website. But I don't handle any leads from the website or sign calls myself.
Okay. Gotcha. So when you were building your business up, was it always referral based?
So when I built my business, I didn't have like a huge sphere of influence. I went to college in other states, so I didn't have like a bunch of college buddies, even though I am from Oklahoma. I didn't have, a bunch of friends or family that were buying or selling like most people do. So I had no database, no sphere. And a lot of these trainers tell you, well, you need to have 200 people in your database or whatever. I had like 100, but none of them were buying or selling. And so I just used social media. I found my first client on social media, one of my first clients on social media. And then one of the very first, my broker just said, hey, this guy needs to sell his house. Someone called off the sign. That was my first sale. But I think it was my second that really helped me out a lot. Military spouse, found her on social media. I just loved on her, helped her through the process, and it kind of, she started recommending me from there, and that helped to make it snowball.
So finding somebody on social. So are you like looking for groups? Are you looking for people? Like, so are you like
hardcore creeping on people? How does that?
I think
I'm just
like a camouflage backpack in a picture. Military, like.
So I look for groups.
Okay.
Whatever groups. I mean, there's a lot of like garage sale groups in areas,
Yep.
stuff like that. But you can really create relationships on social media.
So are you providing value in those groups, 2 times a week or something to let people know who you are? Or is it more of, I'm going to creep through the feed and see what people say?
Okay, so I used to, but now the rules are like no business post and they kick you out. So it's a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit harder to do that. Now now, 5.5 years later, I don't really have to do that because I have so many people in my sphere in those. So if someone asks for a realtor, you know, it's usually this girl. So
Nice, nice. So you got that dialed.
I'm good with the VA stuff. So that's kind of what I focus on.
Nice. I guess so in terms of like, okay, so you're doing that now and you're getting lots of referrals. So what are you doing to like take your business to the next level?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So so right now I've had a little bit of change. I just got a new transaction coordinator. So I am spending my time training her right now. So I've kind of had to take another step, you know, I wouldn't say back, but take another step left to take 2 steps right. So sometimes, you have to go back and kind of hone in on that. Hiring is really tough.
Mm-hmm.
So getting better at hiring will help expand a business. So I'm always trying to get better on that and focus on that. I do use the disc when I'm looking at that. So that's something I've been focusing on lately, and just adding more systems is what I'm working on. Um, the some of my not so favorite things are like the newsletter and some email campaigns and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're working on currently, is just adding a few more systems to expand. Few more touches.
To
30
automate business.
Do what?
Trying to take all those mundane tasks and trying to automate some of that stuff.
Yeah. I generally hire to do things I don't enjoy so much.
I think that's fair.
Probably most of real estate, other than the in the closings.
There's the problem solving and the being out there in the field and helping clients. I love that. I love talking to people. It's the paperwork and some of the office work and some of the marketing that I just don't enjoy as much.
Yeah, I did that in my business too. So I built my business all from automation from day one. So I didn't build any sphere other than, just when I'm out and about doing what I normally do and just talk real estate 24/7. But like, I completely built my entire business from online lead generation and drip campaigns and CRMs, and I didn't do anything else. And so like for me to try to like a newsletter, like I just start sweating already, like thinking about, okay, yeah, your local market, put that on paper, and then somehow get someone to print that and get it out to your company. I'm just like, I literally just died a little bit when you said newsletter. So I have there's a company that automates those. We can talk about that offline if you want, but there's
absolutely
a company that will generate all of that stuff. They will actually automate all of your sphere of influence, past clients, all that stuff. And then all you have to do is they basically say, sit down for 45 minutes, do like 6 videos, and then they basically have it all scripted out for you. And then they automate the rest of it. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's pretty sweet. I mean, when he told me how much it was, I was like, that can't be. I mean, the onboarding fee is where the most of the cost is, but the monthly reoccurring fee isn't that much. And he's like, yeah, we do all this stuff for our clients every month.
That's
And
awesome.
they do the newsletter in print and the whole 9 yards. And so, yeah. So if you want to get some of that stuff off your plate, and then you don't have to hire anybody either. You just hire this company,
Yeah.
so the disc profile them and then spell check all of their stuff. That's the other problem too, is like we talked about, before the show last night, grammar check and using the right words for stuff, doing all that. Like you don't have to go back and be like, okay, so what am I paying you for? Like, I'm paying you $15 an hour and you can't even like put a period in the right spot, dude. Like, there's 6 commas in the sentence. Like, what did you not look at this? Oh, well, you didn't tell me I had to do that. Well, what am I paying you for? Like, those are the things that create the one of the hugest problems, especially in our industry, because we're like 50% social, aspects of our business and 50% like marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can't get your marketing dialed in, then, it makes you look bad because you're like, you can't use chartreuse and yellow together in your marketing campaigns, in your, flyers or whatever. Like where I used to be, like, we did a lot of in print stuff and it was like, dude, what are we? So when I came over here, I was like, yeah, we're not going to do much in print if we can get away with it, So,
Dude, I have never heard of that color, chartreuse.
Yeah, look it up, dude. Google it.
It's a very specific.
It is very
green liqueur.
Yeah. Or like avocado. No, that's a vegetable. No, that's a color too. So, okay. So we've got taken our business to the next level. We've hiring. One of the things I did when I hired my wife's a psychologist. I don't think I mentioned that. And she like went on to this website and created her own like personality profile test. And it was 47 questions. And you like literally get a entire like persona of the person, not just like, oh, well, you fit in these 4 categories, like on the disc profile, which is a great, quick, free test, by the way. But, it took her like 45 minutes to do it because she really wanted the job. And so she took the test and then I got the results back and she was like a robot. And I was like, yes, that's what I need. I need a robot. I can just put her in front of a computer and give her, a keyboard and just and then she referred me one of her friends. So when you're hiring, something to think about is if they know someone, that if you get somebody that's good and you're like trying to hire for a position, usually like-minded people hang around the same like-minded people. So usually they know somebody that's just like them. And then you don't really, then I just did a quick disc profile just to make sure they weren't like psycho. And then, it was perfect because it was like, because she ended up leaving and she referred me one of her friends and she's like even better than her. So I was like, I like it. It works for me. Work of an army in like 3 days and I love it. So I can give her like other projects like marketing and all this other stuff because like all my paperwork is done in like a day and a half. And I'm like, all right, well, so I start dreaming of ideas and she's like, oh yeah, that sounds really great. Even though it's like, no, we're going to burn down the house,
So are you hiring locally, Whitney, or are you, you talk about your showings are pretty much virtual. Is your business almost entirely virtual?
No, not at all. I'm not at all. That's really the only thing that is. My other transaction coordinator, my transaction coordinator is an EXP agent. So she's local. I didn't bring her into EXP, but a lot of times if they know the system, and sky slope and everything else, that's something I don't have to train on.
Mm-hmm.
So
gotcha.
That's what I've done.
Okay, cool. So you joined EXP about a year ago? Is that what you said last night?
I just hit my anniversary date.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, so March 1st was my anniversary date, and I I hit I hit the production goal to hit Icon probably the second week in January, and then they announced it in March.
Okay. So why don't you just describe or give us some details about what Icon Agent is so our audience would know.
Yeah, absolutely. So an icon agent is someone who um, hits a production goal, um, and they have to um, in transaction fees. I believe it's 5,000 past the cap.
Yep.
So in Oklahoma, it takes me about 38 to hit that. So there's a production requirement, but then there's a cultural requirement. So the company wants to know that, you know, you're giving back to your community and that you're giving back to the company, helping other agents grow, and kind of serving in the company as well.
So,
Okay.
so you're with EXP, right?
Right.
Okay. So tell us your journey on how you got here.
Absolutely. So I was with one company for about 3 years. So part of the backstory on all this is, you know, I've been a military spouse, since I got married. My husband's been to Iraq several times. My husband's a veteran. So a lot of the reason, and you kind of have to know a little bit about the backstory to understand the companies and my goals, but a lot of the reason I became a realtor was because of a housing issue that he had before we got married. Sold it in a short sale for a $96,000 loss. Yeah, I had done so much research on that house and not even ever stepped foot in it. And I think we paid about $5,000 to the IRS because he had lived in the house 5 weeks short of 2 years. So we got away with about, $5,000. Had to pay that. And then I bought my house during the market crash. And I was home shopping in 2008. And realtors didn't think that I was like 24, right? So they didn't think that I had a job, could qualify. So I had to call off the sign. But after doing all the research on the short sale for my husband, seeing how frustrated he was, there was certain programs that we tried to qualify for to take care of the debt. We had financial advisors telling us, no, you just need to wait it out and, pay your mortgage. After all the research I had done, I just decided to get into real estate because military families didn't have enough help. So with that, I found a company. I started out there for about 3 years, and it was a good company for new agents. Did have some brokerage support. But then I just kind of needed to grow a little bit more and expand my business. And so I tried out a few different companies, but just they didn't really work for me. I tried another company for a month. True story. I'm pretty independent, and I like the support of a broker. I like it when a broker audits my files and when I don't have to pay attention to that so much. But I don't really, we're independent contractors. So I don't think any of us like to be really told how we need to run our business. So I found that, and then that wasn't a fit. So I went to a small Oklahoma company for about a year, just so I could figure things out. to where the caps, were, I didn't pay as much in basically. And a lot of the reason I just didn't want to pay so much to a brokerage is because of my husband. He's really one of the reasons I got into real estate. I wanted to keep more of the money in our family. I wanted to spend time with him. And we live every day like, back when he got back from Iraq, we live every day like, to the fullest in our family, and that, kind of to enjoy life, because of those experiences. And so I figured out that I could sell less and spend more time with my family and not have to pay as much. And so I went to that Oklahoma brokerage for about a year, and they didn't take as much. And but on some of those flat fee companies, or some of the ones they don't take very much, you don't get like much training either.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of, I needed to figure out what to do though. But I was really missing like the conventions. I was, like stuff like this. Like I love when I get to interact with agents from all across the country, and that's what EXP does for us. But that's really what I was missing, just kind of the camaraderie with other agents, and the lack of training. So being able to hop into the cloud whenever I want, and having 100 other agents from across the country in the same auditorium, during the same training that I am, that's awesome to me. But I'm just kind of a relationship person overall. And so that's what works for me.
I see. I think you bring up an interesting point though, because, EXP is obviously all online. You talk about the cloud, you go into the campus. So there's the persona or the idea that you don't interact with anyone because you're just behind a computer. Did you have those kind of fears before joining?
Um, I did. So before I went to that Oklahoma company for a year, I had some, and we looked at my production numbers. We knew I could qualify for the Icon program back then, but EXP does have a model just in general, set aside from the cloud, that does, make some people scratch their heads a little bit. It's kind of one that you kind of just have to jump into. So I did have some hesitations for about a year. They weren't so much to the cloud. It was just the overall model in general.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where you literally have to take a leap of faith.
You do.
Like, it's just you have to figure out, okay, they've been around long enough now to work out most of the kinks that that the system just works.
Yeah.
And it was weird for me too when I, when I jumped on board, and because I'm like, this is like a combination of like real estate and like a Wii, like a Wii. Like I'm just gonna create my avatar, and then I'm gonna start swinging at bat here to play this video game. And how does that help me with my business again?
Right. It
just works. It does. I mean.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of agents who have stepped up to the plate, and created their own groups to where people do get together outside of the cloud. Recognizing that some people do need the face-to-face. So in our area with the Power Girls, I'll give them a shout out. We have get-togethers first Monday of the month, and that's actually in all areas. So there are some agents stepping up, creating that, and I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, I can see, as we expand across the country and more people join in and there's more opportunity to actually meet together, that's just going to be inevitable because really the internet is just a catalyst to bringing people together.
Yeah,
Here we three are all in different states, all together through the internet. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people meet their spouses online, so it's,
A lot of people buy their houses online.
yeah. I mean, they never they never even see it. So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add? I think we're getting close to rounding this thing out. Anything else you want to add before we kind of close out?
Yeah, so I'd be happy to share more of my story, or take a phone call from an agent, if they're just wanting some more information or some guidance on how I started, um, and and be able to share a little bit more with that. I'm a CD personality, and so I've some of that C personality stuff. I've kind of had to get around a little bit with real estate. I'm not like just a total extrovert. I am a people person, but I think there's kind of a myth that a lot of people that get into real estate are like life of the party, and it's not that way. There's a lot of different personalities, and so I've had a lot of agents reach out to me. Well, you kind of have that personality like I do, and so how did you like grow your business? So I'm happy to share, or take a phone call.
Okay, cool. And for anyone who maybe they can refer a veteran to you, do you only work in Oklahoma or do you have other market areas that you work?
So I'm licensed in the whole state of Oklahoma, but we have a pretty large market. So Oklahoma City is about 1.3 million, but we have a lot of surrounding suburbs. So I can handle a pretty large market.
Okay, cool.
Nice. So
Uh,
what's your phone number so people can reach out?
Awesome. So it is 405-323-6562.
Perfect. Yeah. Now sign up for that 30 minutes with Whitney because she knows her VA. So if you're military from anywhere, give her a call.
that reminds me of that skit from SNL. I think it was SNL. Can I get your number? Can I have it? Can I have it?
That's
Uh,
awesome.
So JP, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, it's what is it? www.clixo.com. That's CLYXO.com /J Fluellen. Or you can just give me a call, 307-772-1184. I'll give you a free 30-minute coaching call. Or you can just email me at james.fluellen@gmail.com. Or if you can't remember any of that, just Google JP Fluellen and you'll find me everywhere.
Beautiful. So guys, we're just going to conclude this week's episode. We're looking forward to another episode next week. We're going to be doing this pretty much throughout, just the interview style. So if you have questions that you want to ask people or you have an agent in particular that you'd like us to interview, definitely shoot them our way. You can reach me at chris.successagent@gmail.com, or you can just reach out through Facebook, whichever one's more preferable for you. And until then, Whitney, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right, guys, we'll catch you later.
See ya.